At Freehold Sale, we receive many inquiries from both leaseholders and freeholders, and we've come to learn about many issues and disputes that commonly arise. So it's no surprise that many leaseholders consider buying their freehold. In fact, there are 5 great reasons why leaseholders would benefit from purchasing the freehold. A lease may have been granted to include a specific floor plan, which could have been altered by one of the occupants over the years. If the alterations were not agreed by the freeholder, this could prevent the sale of the property until the situation is rectified. Equally, if a leaseholder would like to make any alterations, they will need to obtain consent from the freeholder, and their consent may only be provided subject to the leaseholder agreeing to pay the freeholder's professional costs as well as a premium if demanded. But if leaseholders buy the freehold, it will be considerably easier and more cost-effective for them to make any amendments to the leases, which can include changes to the layout or additions to the property and any terms within the leases. A very common issue is that when leases are originally granted, they often stipulate that the leaseholders must insure their properties. Each lease will demise a part of the building to each leaseholder, and where the building has multiple occupants, there will undoubtedly be common areas, such as an entrance hall, front or rear gardens, the foundations of the property, the main structure, and the roof. If these areas are not demised to a leaseholder, then they are in fact owned by the freeholder, which means that leaseholders are not able to insure them. This is a major concern, as in the event of a disaster, leaseholders may find themselves in the very difficult position of having to find additional sums to pay toward the reinstatement of the common areas, which could amount to tens of thousands of pounds, as they are not covered on the leaseholder's policy. If the leaseholders hold both the freehold and leasehold interests within the property, it can be considerably easier to agree and execute any amendments or additions to the existing lease agreements. Costs for lease extensions are one of the most commonly disputed matters between leaseholders and freeholders. Subject to owning their property for 2 years, leaseholders have the right to extend their lease. In order to do so, a valuation will be required to determine the premium payable to the freeholder. However, both parties' expectations of the premium payable can be miles apart, which can often be difficult and costly to resolve. Leaseholders have significant cost liabilities, as they are required to pay for the freeholder's legal and valuation fees as well as their own. Such costs can amount to a few £1,000s, although this could be 2 or 3 times the amount depending on whether they are proceeding with a voluntary or a statutory lease extension. However, if leaseholders were to buy the freehold, they would have the ability to control these costs and agree more favourable premiums for the grant of new leases. When the leases specify that the freeholder is responsible for maintenance or insurance of the building, leaseholders should bear in mind that they may be required to cover the freeholder's liabilities, which can include the costs of administration or employing a managing agent and any professional costs. And where a freeholder would have a duty to comply with a Section 20 consultation process for major works, if leaseholders own the freehold and agree to the cost of the works, they may be able to execute the process much faster and reduce the costs by doing so. Subject to the leases, leasehold properties are often the most valuable aspect of a building, and leaseholders will almost always be entirely responsible for costs in this regard. Therefore, it's in the leaseholder's interest to ensure that maintenance is carried out safely, efficiently, and cost-effectively. Having ownership of the freehold will put them in the best position to be able to manage this successfully. Leaseholders often require assistance from their freeholder for a range of different situations that arise. For example, when selling the lease to another party, the freeholder will be asked to provide replies to a host of inquiries. Additionally, the lease may require the incoming leaseholder to pay an assignment fee to the freeholder upon each assignment or charge. The freeholder may be asked to provide consent for special requests, such as permission to keep a pet or to install services within the property, while the leaseholder may require the freeholder's assistance in enforcing covenants in the leases within the building, and freeholders will require the leaseholder to indemnify them against any costs, which will include both the administration and professional costs. So in our opinion, and subject to affordability, we believe that leaseholders should take advantage of the option to buy the freehold if it is available to them. Owning the freehold will offer more control and will often make it quicker and more cost-effective to overcome certain issues that may arise from time to time. For more expert guidance, please subscribe to this channel. And if you require assistance with any of the topics discussed, please visit our website to explore our range of services.